So this isn't the usual kind of self-improvement videos that I make. I'm just kind of talking and just saying how I feel. Hopefully somebody can relate to this. I think that's better because there's less shadows, I don't know. There's not much lighting right now because it's dark out, and the title of this video, unless I change it, is "My School is Filled with Cornballs and I'm Lonely." The reason why that came to mind is I'm a little picky with who I surround myself with, and I don't mean that to brag in any way. It's a habit that I've built over time, but I was in this class, but it's like, you ever have those moments where you're starting to be chill with somebody, but then you realize that that person is low-key not chill? And it's not like they're a bad person, it's just you realize that they're just not they're just not your cup of tea, even though you thought that they were your cup of tea. And basically this happened to me. I was just starting to be cool with this guy because we have this class that sucks together, and we were just talking about it. And, you know, I was kind of thinking, I don't like this class because it's boring and it sucks and I don't like the professor. But then I talked to him and I start to realize that he's kind of just trying to brag the entire time I'm talking to somebody. In this video, I do not mean to sound like an asshole at all, and I think that the reason why people do this is because of their own personal things that are going on, or reasons why they feel like they need to be more braggadocious. It's different for me so far in college because there's a significantly higher percentage of people that are like this. People that are very contrary, and people that try to say the absolute opposite of what you're trying to say, and people that will make a significant effort to brag in subtle ways where you can tell they're just not being authentic. They're just not as down to earth. And I understand this. I understand this completely, and I understand why people feel like they need to do that. It's because college, in a lot of ways, compared to high school, is intimidating. And people feel the need to convince you that they're important. And in high school, people want to convince you that they're important. I really don't know how to put this. Maybe it's because my college is in a different region that my high school was, and I think that people at my high school would try hard to be cool like any high school people would, but it just felt like more of them that I came in contact with were more down to earth and real. I know this is kind of all over the place, and I know I'm not really getting to the point. Anyways, towards the end of high school, the reason why it felt like people were more authentic is because I had found my group. I had found my people to surround myself with at that point, and I knew who was cool. And freshman year, when I didn't know those people, and I didn't know who was my group and who I fit in with and such, I think that I wasn't really aware of who was authentic because I was inauthentic myself. I was trying to prove myself to people and convince people that I was important and convince people that I was cool. So I just kind of didn't really realize that that's what everybody else was doing. But now it really sounds like I'm being egotistical. Like, it really sounds like I'm just being an asshole. But now I kind of know what it looks like to be inauthentic because I feel that I genuinely try to approach interactions with authenticity, and I try to say what I think with politeness in consideration as well. So I just am kind of surprised that I haven't found that many real people that don't have some kind of ulterior networking-esque motive for talking to you. Because the thing is, in college, one of the differences that I've noticed is if people talk to you, especially if they hang out with you, and especially if they hang out with you outside of school, if they're doing that, they really want to. But my thing is, it seems like they really want to because of some kind of ulterior motive, or because they're trying to get something out of me. Maybe I'm just paranoid and schizophrenic, but maybe people in college, first years especially, are just more inauthentic because they're intimidated by college, it's new, they're trying to appeal to people, and everything like that. Because of principles that I hold for myself and things in that wheelhouse due to self-improvement since freshman year, I've kind of developed this sense for inauthenticity, but also a sense for people or a group of people not being people I want to be around. In high school, when you meet people, it's by circumstance. School ends at the same time for everybody at that school. You're gonna hang out with people because you don't have other stuff to do. Versus in college, everybody has a different class schedule, especially if you have work, you have a girlfriend. If you're gonna make time for somebody, you really wanna hang out with them. That's why in college, especially because I'm living off campus, I'm living away from home, but I'm living off campus in an apartment, not in a dorm. I think if you're in a dorm, it's a lot easier because you're just around a lot more people all the time. What I'm getting at is it's a bit of a lonely feeling when you feel like you are being authentic in nearly every interaction and you are trying to make real connections with people, but you're not getting the same thing in return. You can tell people are presenting to you a more exaggerated version of themselves or not themselves at all. And I understand their motive and I'm empathetic for the situation, but I think that it's difficult and I hope some people can relate to that. And I haven't exactly found a solution yet. I just feel like a lot of the people that I talk to, I just don't see it. That's a difficult thing that a lot of first-year students probably face is they move away from home and they have these close friends, might even be their childhood friends. I feel like I have this standard of what I want out of my friends. When you meet new people, it's very difficult for them to meet that standard. Mostly because you've only known them for 2 seconds. And you've known these other people for 10 years. I don't want to expect people to meet that standard. But it seems more difficult to make friends. People are busier, people have different schedules. I've made friends, it just doesn't hit the same as the hometown friend group, you know? And I feel like a lot of people will resonate with that. So I hope some people can relate to this video. I know I don't really provide a solution, so one could argue I didn't provide much value, but I think there's value in sharing my experience and hoping that somebody can relate to it. And yeah, that's basically it. So anyways, have a good one. Thank you for watching.